Hey everyone, it's Karen with Yes Please PaperCrafts, and in this video I'm going to be creating the last layout using my mini kit Monday kit from way back in April. And so I had created 4 layouts already using this kit, and this is going to be the last one. This is the bonus layout, and this was the paper that I used to build my kit. It was my inspiration piece, and I really was wanting to do something special with it. And so I had this idea that I would cut out some designs from using my Cricut with Cricut Design Space. There's a cartridge on Cricut Design Space that's included with Cricut Access. It's called the Edge to Edge cartridge, and it's got all of these really awesome designs that you can use as overlays to put on top of your background. And so I cut out some of these different designs, and I made them all, I think, as large as I could, which is 11.5 inches. And so I'm just showing you here some of the different ones that I did. And I'm going to go ahead and lay each one of these on top of my background to kind of try it out and see which one I would like to use. So this one is like a circular design. It's really frilly looking, almost looks like a flower. Here's one that looks like sun rays, and I thought that one was pretty cool. But it didn't really quite go with the paper. This next one is kind of like a starburst, and that one was okay, but I wasn't super happy with that one either. I love this one. This one was really awesome, but it did not suit the look and feel of my layout. It was kind of juvenile and kind of a little bit more little kid as opposed to a grown-up type of a layout. Now this last one was pretty, but it didn't really show enough of the background. So I'm going to go back to this one. I really love that. I love the color showing through, but it didn't really line up with the design underneath. And so I didn't really like how that looks. So I'm going to go back to this very first one that I tried out. And that's the one that I'm going to choose for this layout. I love that it actually showed a lot of the color, but still gave a lot of the, you could still see a lot of the white die cut. It was very it was more elegant looking, I guess I should say. I just liked it. I thought it would suit this layout much better. So the picture that I'm using is actually a picture that was taken on a cruise that I took last year with my mom and my sister. It was way back, I think at the end of January, beginning of February in 2019. And I wanted to use this picture with this piece of paper because in the picture, my sister and I were standing in front of a painting, and it was so colorful and bright, and I thought that it would be perfect for this layout. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down to the background. I wanted to make sure that I did get this to where it was glued down, and I'm using the Barely Art glue, and I'm not going to actually glue it on the very, very edge because I did want to cut around this. And I wanted to be able to get my scissors up underneath the edge of all those little curves. So I'm looking for some paper that I can use to create a mat for my photo. And these different papers came from the Paige Evans Horizon project pad. And I decided that I would go ahead and use some white cardstock. And then I'm also going to mat my picture with that bright green cardstock. Now the paper that I'm using for my background is one of the papers from the Paige Evans Horizon collection, and that is one of my most favorite scrapbooking papers ever. I think it's just so fun and colorful and such a cute design. Okay, so I'm going to use the We Are Memory Keepers layering guides to create mats for my photos, and this one I'm using is the 1/8 inch guide. And I love using these guides because it really does help you to create even mats without having to measure. And for this next mat, I'm going to be using a 1/16 inch layering guide. I really didn't want to see much of that green paper. I just wanted kind of a pop of color behind the picture there. And if you're interested in learning more about using the We Are Memory Keepers layering guides, I did create a video on my channel kind of sharing how to use those and giving some tips. And if you're interested in that, I will leave a link in the description below to that video. So the next thing that I'm going to do is cut around this design. I'm going to fussy cut this out, and it was a little bit more challenging than I thought it was going to be. At first, I just cut off all of the paper there, and I'm going to save parts of that paper because I'm going to use a punch later to create some embellishments. But this was a little bit more of a challenge to cut out than I thought it was going to be, because I did have to kind of worry about cutting into that white paper. And so I started off by going around the entire circle in one direction, and then I came back at it from the other direction. And it did take me quite a while to do that. So I kind of got tired of it, and I'm just going to quit for a while. And I'm going to go back later and finish cutting that out. But right now, I wanted to look at different papers to use for my background. So I didn't want to use white for my background because I wanted this design that I had created to really stand out. And so I'm going to try a whole bunch of different papers here to kind of see what I would like to use for my background. And a lot of these would have been really good to use, but I just wanted to kind of play around with, looking at the various different options that I had available. And this is actually just a bunch of cardstock. It's a paper pad that I have that is just all kinds of different cardstock. And then I got out a stack of paper, and I just started putting different paper behind this, just looking to see, how it would look. And I had a lot of fun just kind of playing with this and trying out different things. And at the time that I was doing this, I was actually talking to some friends. We were in an online kind of crop or get together. And so I was just chatting with them and just playing with the paper. And it was a lot of fun just to kind of go through a bunch of different paper and just try out different things. So I thought that one was really cool, but wasn't quite what I was going for with this layout. But I thought that was really an interesting paper to have used as a background. And just going to keep trying different ones here. I tried that rainbow paper, and that was just a little bit too much. And that one too, it just was too busy. I wanted something that had a little bit of a pattern, but I didn't want something that was too busy that it was going to take away from this design. And I came across this paper here. It's kind of a white background, but it's got these multicolored rainbow stripes, but they're very thin stripes. And so I thought, well, this is kind of cool. I like the effect of those stripes in the background, but it didn't really take away from this design that I had created. Now I did skip ahead. I finished fussy cutting out this design that I have for my background. And I also started playing around with different embellishments here. And I don't know if I lost part of my video footage or if I didn't record something, but there was part of it here that is not there. But I don't think you really missed much. It was, I don't think you really wanted to see me sit there and fussy cut that out because it took a long time. Okay, so I think this was the next day because I see I'm wearing my pajamas with the little puppy dogs on there. And so I'm pretty sure this was the following day. So I am trying to figure out what I'm going to do for my title here. And I had these gold thickers, and that was in my page kit. And I thought, well, I should maybe try to make a title with these thickers. And I didn't really know what my title was going to be, and I was just kind of playing around here. I thought maybe I would put something with the word photo or the word cruise. And in the end, I'm not going to use these stickers. I don't think they stood out enough against this background. And I'm just going to put all those back on the sticker sheet and just use that little chipboard piece that I have there that says hip hip hooray as my title. So now that I decided what I was going to do about my title, I'm going to work on the background and getting this put together. And when I laid the picture there, I was thinking that maybe I wanted to make a little bit more separation between the photo and the background. And so I pulled this solid color paper out of this paper pad, and that was the Paige Evans Horizon project pad. And these are not cardstock, it's actually just paper. And I'm just trying out these different colors of paper to try to see if maybe I would want to use one of those as a mat behind my picture. So I'm going to pick this pink paper to create a mat and add 1/8 inch mat around this photo using the We Are Memory Keepers layering guides. And once I get this mat completed, I'm going to put it there on top of the background, and I'm going to decide I don't like it. I thought it looked much better without the pink mat, so I'm going to take that off and just go with the mats that I have. So one of my favorite YouTubers is Missy Whitten. I love her mixed media layouts. And a couple of times I've actually watched her videos where she did something which was to put her embellishments onto her layout and in the same color. So if her background was pink, she put pink embellishments. If it was blue, she put blue, and so on. So you can take a really busy background and kind of tone it down just by using the same color of an embellishment for that part of the paper. And I really love this background. I didn't want to cover it up, but I did want to tone it down a little bit. And so I ended up thinking that maybe the best way to do that would be to actually put the embellishments on the layout with the same tones. So you'll see that I started out with some pink embellishments and also with some blue embellishments. And not all of my embellishments are going to match exactly, but probably about, I would say, 90% of the embellishments that I added to this layout, they match the background. Now at the beginning of this video, I posted a notice asking you guys to look for the missing luggage. I lost a little yellow suitcase, and I really wanted that suitcase because I wanted to have that yellow to add to this layout. And I was just so frustrated by the fact that I had that yellow suitcase, and you saw it at the very beginning. It was in my page kit. And then when I went to start putting all my embellishments on the layout, I couldn't find it anywhere. I spent probably several hours looking for that suitcase. I looked everywhere. I looked in all over my craft table, everywhere that I had anything out. I looked to see if maybe somehow it got in with something else. Or I even looked through the trash. I really wanted that suitcase. And I got so mad because I wanted to finish this layout and I didn't have my suitcase. So, anyway, I kind of put this layout aside, and that's one of the reasons why it took me so long to get this video out here for you guys, was that I didn't finish the layout, I think, until maybe mid-May, maybe the end of May. It was a really long time. And I finally, I was making some videos where I was sorting through my papers. And I think it was the third video that I made on paper sorting. I was going through paper and I came across a paper from this Paige Evans Horizon collection that had little suitcases all over it. So I was super excited because not only did I get a yellow suitcase, but there was a whole bunch of other colors. And so I was able to fussy cut some of those out and use them on this layout. So I don't know if I'll ever find my missing suitcase, but I just had to laugh at myself because I just couldn't get past not having that suitcase for this layout. So I am going to fussy cut out some little words as well, and that was from a paper that was from the Paige Evans Whimsical collection. And I really liked it because it had a lot of different colors, and I was going to be able to use that for this layout. So here's the paper that I have with all the suitcases. This is also from the Paige Evans Horizon collection. And I thought that this was super cool that I was able to not just get a yellow suitcase, but I also was able to cut out a green suitcase, a blue one, and a peach colored suitcase. And yeah, this just made my day when I found this paper in my stash. So this is the first time I've ever created a layout like this where I put the same color embellishments on top of the background and kind of match the embellishments to the background. And I really think it's cool. It's a lot of fun. It's not the typical layout that I would actually create. And I don't think that I would have come up with this layout on my own if I hadn't seen other scrapbookers creating layouts similar to this. And that's one of the things I really love about YouTube, and being able to watch other people creating scrapbook layouts, because I learned so much from watching other people, and it's just so much fun to kind of, have a peek inside the process of how someone else creates a page. And it's just amazing to me how many different techniques and different ways of doing things there are. And I think it's so much fun to just watch other people, and you can, kind of step outside of what your normal things that you tend to go for and look at what other people do. And sometimes you find that it really opens up more creativity in your own process, because you kind of learn something, like for instance this putting tone on tone embellishments onto a background. Or one example I have is I watched a video where somebody was creating a scrapbook layout, and they tore the paper around the edges and then layered another paper behind it. That's something else that I've done on a few layouts. I love the way it looks, and I don't think I would have ever figured out to do that except by watching someone else. Okay, so let's get back to this scrapbook layout. I'm looking for some twine to add to the tag there at the top of my layout. And the only white twine I had left was a really thick piece of twine. I think it was left over from some packaging that I had. And so I pulled out some crochet thread, and I'm going to use that instead because this tag is fairly small, and I think that crochet thread works a little bit better. I wanted to make some more embellishments to match my background, so I'm going to take this Tim Holtz heart punch and just punch out hearts from all of these different scrap pieces of paper that I had left over from my background. And I thought it was pretty cool because I had blue and purple and pink and just all the different colors that were on that paper. And I'm just going to punch out a bunch of these hearts. So originally when I was punching these out, I intended to use these little hearts all over my background, just kind of having some more embellishments that matched my paper. And I ended up doing something totally different with them, which I'll show y'all a little bit later in this video. But for now, let's go ahead and talk about this next part that I'm working on, which is to put foam tape and these Stampin' Up! Dimensionals on the back of some of these different embellishments. Some of the embellishments I have just flat, some of them I put the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, and some of the embellishments I use some foam tape. And I did that because the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals are a little bit, they're thinner than the foam tape. And so I like to use those sometimes when I want a dimension, but I don't want as much dimension as the foam tape would give me. Alright, so I'm also pulling some additional stickers off the 12 by 12 sticker sheet, and that sticker sheet came out of the Paige Evans Horizon project pad. That project pad is really awesome because it has pattern paper plus the solid paper and also the stickers, and it has some specialty paper. I think there's like some glitter cardstock there as well. So I do love using the project pads, but the one thing I would say about those is that sometimes the papers look a little bit more faded than if you get the double-sided paper. It's a little bit heavier weight paper, and so that would be my only kind of like negative for using the project paper pads. And I picked those up at joann's.com. They will have if you don't see those in your store, a lot of times they will have those available online. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do here is to just go ahead and put all of these different hearts on here. And you can see I ended up putting the hearts matching the color of the background, and I added it to that stripe paper. And I don't know why, I just thought that was really cool. It kind of extended the background out and kind of made it almost look like an exploding flower. I just thought it was a cool effect. And so I decided to just go ahead and use those hearts on my background. Okay, so I'm looking at these suitcases and deciding if I wanted to do some more fussy cutting and cut out some more. I had cut, I think, a peach colored suitcase, yellow, and the blue and the pink one were ones that were part of the ephemera die pack. And so those are ones that actually I didn't cut. I found a little green one here that I'm going to fussy cut, and I thought that was really cute. I love that color of green, and I'm going to add that right there by the globe. And you'll notice that not all of my embellishments match 100% the color that's underneath, but I tried to put colors where I could, where it would match the background, and you'll notice that the lime green suitcase is closer to that lime green, and then the drink that's behind it and the globe kind of matches the darker green that's above the lime green. So I did try to kind of like put the embellishments where they look good, but also where it matched the background. Now the other thing that I did was I don't usually do this. Usually if I fussy cut something and it has something like this where there's, you can still see the background paper through, like in this case, the handle, I wouldn't normally spend time cutting that out. But some of the suitcases didn't have that because they were part of the ephemera die pack. And so I wanted to kind of cut this out just because I wanted all of the suitcases to kind of match. And I thought it would look better if you could see the background through the handle and you didn't see that white. So I did spend some time taking each one of those suitcases that I fussy cut and cutting through that, and just making sure that I could get that piece out. Now, one of the funny things was I did cut this peach suitcase, and it had that foam tape on there, and so it made it really hard to actually do that one, and I cut the handle completely off. So I was kind of sad for a minute, and then I thought, well, I had this paper here. I was playing around with one of my border punches, and I just happened to have this border punch that I had punched out, and it has almost exactly the same color as this suitcase. And so I just made myself another handle and stuck it onto that suitcase. So I fixed it, and I thought it looked really awesome. So I would say that, you know, that came in quite handy. It wasn't planned at all. It just happened to be there right next to me. So, okay, so I did put those suitcases up onto some foam tape. And then I also, one of the other things that I did that I really liked after I was kind of like playing around with my title was to move my title. I had it at one point at the top of the picture. I had it at the bottom of the picture, and it finally ended up being on the left side of the picture. And I really liked it there because you could kind of see the middle of that die cut. It had like white there, and it kind of draws your eye to that part of the layout. And I thought that was a really cool place to put my title. Okay, so I'm going to finish getting all these cut out. One of the other things that I did was I fussy cut out all of these little, they were like tickets and passports and just different little pieces. And all those little pieces actually came from that same paper. This is paper number 17 from the Paige Evans Horizon collection. Okay, so I'm looking at the sticker sheet again, and I decided to pull off this pink globe, and I used that to fill in that part of the layout there. It was kind of bare, and so I just added that pink globe there, and it says young, wild, and free. And I thought that was really cute because it was light pink at the bottom and a darker pink at the top. So I'm also going to bring in some flowers from the ephemera die pack, also from the Paige Evans Horizon collection. And this is the ephemera pack that just has all the flowers. So most of the things that I used on this layout were all from Paige Evans, which I think made it a lot easier to match the colors with the background. So if you want to see some of the other layouts that I created using this kit, I will have links in the description below to all of those different videos. And also be sure to check out the other YouTube channels for the Mini Kit Monday ladies, and also the guest designer for April, Kelly Oblick's channel. And I will have links to all of those YouTube channels in the description of this video as well. So now that I've figured out where everything was going to go, I'm just going to glue all of this down using either some foam tape, my ATG gun, or some liquid glue. And I'm using the Barely Art Glue, it's very similar to the Art Glitter Glue, and I really like it a lot. I actually think I like it better than the Art Glitter Glue. The consistency is the same. It's very thin. but I find that it doesn't clog as much as the art glitter glue, and it's less expensive. So I think that it's a really good choice if you're looking for a liquid glue. So this layout is pretty close to done. And of course, the last thing that I'm going to do is to add some enamel dots. And so I actually went through and I was looking at some of my enamel dots and also my puffy stickers, and I found some little hearts in different colors. So this layout already had so much going on that I decided that I would just add some puffy hearts to some of the little suitcases. So it gave some more texture to the layout without adding more clutter and making it look busier. It just kind of, I think, gave more detail to the little suitcases. So I also pulled in one little pink heart from this embellishment pack. This is the Be Mine collection from Creative Memories. And those embellishment packs are so cute. It came with some three-dimensional stickers as well as some puffy shapes. And so that's going to be the last thing that I do on this layout. So I hope y'all enjoyed this scrapbook process video. And if you did, please give this video a like. And if you would like to see more videos, please subscribe. I would love to have you join my channel. So that's all I have for you guys today. Hope y'all have an awesome week, and I will see you next time. Bye now.